It's round 2 of the playoffs. Let's talk about players you should start, sit, and a couple of sleepers. I'll also be talking about some players that didn't perform last week that you're going to want to still play this week. Stay tuned. Also, before I get into it, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. You know I had to get suited and booted for this one. Gotta make sure these Christmases go just right. Last thing you need is to ruin your Christmas with a bad fantasy football output. Yeesh. Quarterbacks I love, hate, and a couple sleepers. I love Dak Prescott. I know Dak had an awful game last week. He only scored 7 fantasy points, but he goes up against the Miami Dolphins, and this should be a nice back and forth affair. I think both of these teams are good and should be able to score on each other. Look for Dak Prescott to do well in a shootout. I also love Justin Fields. He's going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who have allowed the 8th most points to the quarterback position in the last 5 games. I like that he gets it done in the air and on the ground, and the Cardinals aren't very good, so I think that he should be able to do work. I hate Sam Howell. Yes, he played well to get you to the playoffs, but this is not the time to play him. Going up against the New York Jets, the Jets are a great defense against the quarterback position, the toughest matchup in the league. Hard pass on Sam Howell. He is going to be sacked a bunch. Probably picked off too. And a sleeper, Baker Mayfield. He played incredible last week, 29 fantasy points, 300 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Perfect passer rating in Lambeau Field. First time that's ever been done by an opponent. I think you can fire up Baker Mayfield and against the Jacksonville Jaguars is one of the best matchups of the week. Definitely think you can play that. Next up, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's getting it done. They're letting him sling it. He's throwing for 44 more passes in every game he's played, and he gets a good matchup going up against the Texans. The Texans don't have their starting quarterback, so it'll be Case Keenum, but I think Case Keenum could give a nice little shootout potential. Fire up Joe Flacco if you're desperate. Wide receivers I love and hate this week. Mike Evans. Going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have allowed the 10th most points to the wide receiver position in the last 5 games. I think Mike Evans eats after watching Chris Godwin eat last week. Fire up DJ Moore. Going up against the Cardinals. The Cardinals defense is bad on all fronts and they don't guard wide receiver either. DJ Moore should have a field day. And finally, Rashee Rice is a consistent player. He's had 9 or more targets in 4 straight games. He is clearly the dude. He's had a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 and he goes up against the Las Vegas Raiders, who do not scare me. Fire up your Rashee Rice. I hate Terry McLaurin. Yes, I know he balled out against the Rams last week. Well, that was a different quarterback and a different matchup. The New York Jets are an incredible defense. Terry McLaurin is going to have a problem getting open against the toughest defense in the league against the wide receiver position. I'd sit him if you can. Running backs I love, hate, and a couple confidence picks. I love James Cook. You got to stay in the flames. This kid is on fire. Since they switched offensive coordinator, he has been bowling. Fire him up for sure. I don't know if I have to keep telling you this, but start Rachaad White. He got you there. He is balling. He has had 20 or more fantasy points in 3 straight weeks. Fire him up every week. And a little lower down the line, Joe Mixon. Fire him up. Going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You would think the Steelers' run defense is great, but they've been getting torched the last 3 weeks. They've allowed the 2nd most points to the running back position. Last 5 weeks, they've allowed the 6th most points. I think Joe Mixon should do work, especially without Jamar Chase. The team's going to need to lean on him a little more. I hate to say this, but I hate Austin Eckler. Not as a human being, I love him. Austin Eckler is one of the best fantasy running backs we've had in the last 5 years, but he's just not getting it done, man. And he goes up against Buffalo with a backup quarterback. This game should get ugly, and I don't think Austin Eckler's going to do work. He's not a must bench, but I'm not excited about it. And the Bills are a really good defense against the running back position. I think he's going to finish around a flex play. I hate Javonte Williams. Going up against the New England Patriots, that's a really good defense against the running back position. And on top of that, losing faith in this offense. Jerome Ford has a tough matchup against the Texans. The Texans have been the 3rd best defense against the running back position in the last 5 games when you adjust for schedule. This isn't a must bench, but I don't see him having very much upside. I've been getting a lot of questions about Bijan Robinson. Should you start him? He had 0 points for you last week. I have Bijan Robinson in one of my leagues. I am in the playoffs. I am starting Bijan Robinson. Arthur Smith may be a clown, but he knows that he still needs to win games. That stunt he pulled last week, I'm sure didn't go great with the owners after he lost the game. You can coach how you want to coach until you start losing. Now you're losing in a division that is awful because you won't play your best players. Bijan Robinson is your best player. I think he gets the ball. Indianapolis Colts are bottom 3 team against the running back position. Bijan Robinson's going to eat. I'm starting him. Getting a lot of comments about Breece Hall. I think that you can start him too. The Commanders allow the 2nd most fantasy points to the running back position in the last 5 games, and they have a backup quarterback. Well, backup quarterback isn't really going to be slinging it down the field. Now, don't get get me wrong. I'm not saying that Breece Hall is going to be a top 5 play this week, but I do think that he is going to be a running back too. And a lot of people are asking me questions about him compared to flex plays. So I want to let you know, you can play Breece Hall this week. I don't think that he's going to get you 3 points. Washington's not great. He should be fine. Tight ends I love, and a sleeper if he plays. I absolutely love Trey McBride. And no, it's not just because I have him on my Dynasty League, though that is exciting. He's just been incredible getting the targets, man. 9 or more targets in 4 out of the last 5 games. That's incredible. And 11 last week. Chicago's defense is good, but Trey McBride is better. I definitely think you should fire him up. Same with this guy, David Njoku. Stay in the flame. Yes, it's not the best of matchups, but David Njoku is getting targeted like crazy. 14 targets last week? Are you kidding me? Must start territory. Going up against Houston. Houston, we have a problem. I also love Isaiah Likely. The 49ers are a great defense for everybody but the tight end. In the last 5 weeks, the 49ers have allowed the most points to the tight end position when you adjust for the schedule. I think Isaiah Likely does work. As a sleeper, I have Hunter Henry, balled out in the last 2 weeks, goes up against Denver. Denver is a bad team against the tight end position, so I definitely think you could fire him up. He's questionable with a knee injury, but did practice today, so I think you can. So if he plays, I think you can play him. Defenses I love, hate, and a couple sleepers. I love the Bills. Did y'all see what the Raiders did against the Los Angeles Chargers last week? Well, the Bills get them this week. Fire them up if you got them. The Jets get to go up against the Washington Commanders. That's easy money. Commanders are second most fantasy points to the defense in the last 5 weeks. Let's go. I also like the Eagles against the New York Giants and Tommy Cutlet. I think he's definitely going to get a decent amount of sacks. And the Giants aren't projected to score very many points. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos. Yes, they got torched last week against the Detroit Lions, but they go up against the New England Patriots, who are objectively not good. I think the Denver Broncos bounce back this week. Oh, I hate to say this because I've been using this team all year. I hate the Baltimore Ravens. Going up against the San Francisco 49ers, I want no piece of the 49ers offense. They are incredible, hard pass. Find another matchup. That's not a matchup you want to play. Trust me. The Green Bay Packers are a sleeper this week, going up against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina is a terrible team. They won't score very much, and the Packers have been sacking the ball pretty well. I also like the Chicago Bears. Yes, I feel like every other question I get is, what about the Bears? What about the Bears? Well, here are the Bears. The Bears have been doing work. Double-digit fantasy points in 3 straight games, going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who have not been playing well as of late. I think the Bears are a good play this week. Word of advice. We have 2 matchups on Saturday. Bengals at Steelers at 4:30, Bills at Chargers at 8 o'clock. Make sure you put these players in their position spots. If it's a wide receiver spot. If it's a running back, the running back spot. Don't leave them in your flex. It's going to take away the flexibility you have on Sunday and Monday. A rule of thumb is the earlier a player plays, the higher up on your list they should be. If you don't have anybody on Saturday, but you have a bunch of people on Sunday and a few on Monday, the Monday players should be in your flex spot. You want to give yourself the maximum amount of flexibility for as long as you can, just in case somebody gets injured or sick. You want to make sure you have an out so you can use that flex. It's all about the flexibility. So good luck in your matchups. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. I hope that you win and make it to the finals, and so you can have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Enjoy the semifinals. I know I will. Peace.